At long last, the Kame House stage is coming to Sparking Zero. This game's roster is sitting at an impressive 200 characters, but what about the maps? Back in 2007, Tenkaichi 3 launched with 22 different stages, and Sparking Zero? Just 12. So what are these missing maps? Where do they fit into Dragon Ball lore, and which ones should never have been left behind to begin with? By the end of this video, we'll have the perfect list of stages to finally make Sparking Zero feel complete. So this first set of missing maps are the hardest to defend because they come straight from the core Dragon Ball Z story. Let's start with Mountain Road. The need for this stage easily clocks in at 7 out of 10. It's where Android 18 absolutely humiliates Vegeta, temporarily breaking his arm but permanently wounding his pride. You spawn on the same road where all that action took place, and you can even destroy the truck like Vegeta did in the show. Its small size and unique horizontal layout would make Sparking Zero battles even more chaotic, and that's exactly what I want. Nowhere to run, only destruction. Its only weakness, the only reason I don't rate it higher, is that it does lack the mythical, larger-than-life nature of Dragon Ball Z's most iconic locations. Like the name implies, it's really just a road in the mountains. But if the omission of Mountain Road still sounds disappointing to you, then this next one will genuinely baffle you. Number 2, Kami's Lookout. The need for this stage is easily 9 out of 10. This is essentially Z Fighter HQ in the DBZ lore. Goku trains here, Piccolo trains here, the Earthlings train here. It's where the Z Fighters regroup before every major crisis. And yet, this sanctuary is missing from the game. That's tragic because at its core, Sparking Zero is all about destruction. It's about watching the stages shatter and crumble under the weight of your most powerful attacks. And Kami's Lookout is literally perfect for this. Just imagine it, a platform floating in the sky, breaking apart as you unleash your most devastating moves. The fight shifts to the sky, not by choice, but because there's no longer a platform to stand on. This stage is inseparable from the Dragon Ball Z identity and perfectly captures what Dragon Ball Z fights are all about. This is a top priority return for Sparking Zero. But listen, if the appeal of Kami's Lookout is watching a stage get destroyed, then this next stage is what happens when the entire world is destroyed along with it. Number 3, Ruined Earth. I'm not even gonna bother ranking this one because it must be included in Sparking Zero. We need it. Basically, imagine if Vegeta's Gallic Gun had actually hit the Earth, or if Trunks hadn't actually stopped Mecha Frieza. Ruined Earth is essentially what Tenkaichi 3 thinks the planet would look like if the villains had their way. You can turn any Earth-based map into this stage by hitting it with a strong enough attack, meaning those bad endings are always a possibility in Tenkaichi 3. And its absence highlights the most ironic flaw with Sparking Zero. Namek is the only stage that can be completely destroyed. For a game to market itself all about destruction, but leave out this map is extremely disappointing. Since Kame House is already confirmed, this is my most desired stage from this section. It would elevate the destruction ceiling and bring Sparking Zero to heights it's never seen before. Okay, new stages, new rules. This next set of maps represents the Dragon Ball Z movies, meaning they're less about lore significance and more about exploring locations that the main series never did. These I'm going to rank based on how much they actually changed the feel of Sparking Zero, how much novelty they would add. Now, not every single movie stage deserves to come back, but one of them absolutely does, and I saved it for last. Planet is essentially the Frieza Soldier equivalent of maps. It's an intentionally generic stage used to fill in for properly named locations. It takes us away from Earth, sure, but there's not a whole lot of novelty here to justify its return. Glacier is where the Z Fighters fight Android 13. This one is unique for enabling massive underwater battles, but at this point in the canon, adding the Super Broly Glacier would make a whole lot more sense, because right now, we only have the lava version of Namek as a placeholder for that fight. Hell from the Janemba movie makes for a naturally exciting backdrop, but Sparking Zero just added the Demon Realm with all the same vibes, meaning these two are kind of interchangeable. Instead, the true standout pick for movie stages is Outer Space. This one is easily a 9 out of 10. It breaks rules, and for a movie stage, that's exactly the point. This is where Bardock attempts his final rebellion against Frieza in his Father of Goku TV special, valiantly trying but failing to defend his home planet. It immediately distinguishes itself by doing something no other stage does. It takes the fight into literal space. And that's special because this stage isn't about accuracy, it's about novelty. Earthlings, Saiyans, Namekians, any character can fight here without suffocating, completely ignoring the rules of the Dragon Ball universe. And that's the kind of variety that Sparking Zero really needs right now. Okay, the remaining 5 maps aren't about gameplay or novelty. They're about content we already know is coming to the game. Sparking Zero launched without OG Dragon Ball characters, so omitting the OG Dragon Ball stages was initially justified. But now, with Demon King Piccolo, Grandpa Gohan, General Tao, and whoever else on the way, they've stopped being optional. We actually do need all of these maps, so we can recreate as many of our favorite Dragon Ball fights as possible. Let's go through them chronologically. And yes, I know I'm cheating a little with the last one. First, Mount Paozu. This is Goku's home and the first location we see in all of Dragon Ball. It's also the largest map in the game, with the area from Goku's house all the way to the mountains fully explorable. Bulma recruits Goku on her quest for the Dragon Balls here, eventually meeting Roshi and visiting Kame House. Since this is already confirmed in the game, I'll skip straight to Desert. Goku and Bulma stop here while hunting for the Dragon Balls, unaware the territory is actually Yamcha's hunting ground. He tries to steal their Dragon Balls, which results in a hilarious fight with Goku. Bulma's van can actually be found parked in the map here, making it a highly faithful recreation of the scene. And yes, it can also be destroyed. Also, Yamcha's Desert Bandit outfit is actually in Sparking Zero, so we could perfectly recreate this entire scene if they added this map to the game. The gang eventually collects all 7 Dragon Balls and go their separate ways, leading to Goku's battle with the Red Ribbon Army at Muscle Tower. This is the only Dragon Ball map that they could technically justify leaving out. Goku climbs that tower you see in the middle while fighting cyborgs, ninjas, and CEOs along the way. The only problem is that, without Android number 8, there's no meaningful fight to recreate on this stage. It would kind of just exist in a vacuum. Which brings us to King's Castle. Near the end of the series, Goku arrives here to stop the reign of Demon King Piccolo, who's threatening the entire planet. This was basically Goku versus Frieza before Frieza ever existed. It's a large, colorful map littered with buildings, and long fights will usually result in it being razed to the ground. Without this one, we can't recreate one of Shonen Jump's most legendary showdowns. And lastly, Penguin Village. This one doesn't quite fit in the list, but I don't care. It's simply too iconic not to include. This is the hometown of Arale, the protagonist of Akira Toriyama's other manga, Dr. Slump. Now, both her and Penguin Village actually do make a cameo in Dragon Ball during the fight with General Blue, so this was never a totally random inclusion. Its vibrant, quirky buildings and landscapes make it stand out amongst the average Dragon Ball location, and it would be a perfect way to honor the legacy of Akira Toriyama. We need both Penguin Village and Arale in Sparking Zero. So think of it like this. Sparking Zero isn't lacking characters, it's really just lacking context for those characters. The roster is massive, the combat is explosive, but without the right stages, some of Dragon Ball's most important moments can't be recreated the way they should be. Here's my list of must-have stages to make Sparking Zero feel complete. We need Ruined Earth for the destruction factor. Without this, the battles will never reach the heights that they did in Tenkaichi 3. Second, we need Kame's Lookout simply for its importance in the DBZ lore. The game will never feel complete without this iconic location. Number 3, I have Outer Space just for the sake of variety, for the sake of novelty. 4, I want as many Dragon Ball stages as we can get. But if I could only pick one, I'd probably choose King's Castle, just because I know Demon King Piccolo is coming to the game and I want to be able to recreate that fight. And finally, I want Penguin Village just as a way to pay homage to Toriyama, and because it's vibrant, fun, quirky, everyone loves this map, bring it to the game. All the other stages would be nice to have, but in my mind, Sparking Zero won't feel complete without these 5 stages minimum. Let me know which map you think has to be added next, and which one you never want to fight on again. Thanks for watching.
Let's play again!